Okay. I just stare at her and she says something. She's like, what the Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with Sierra, our customer care specialist. If you've called us, you've most likely have spoken to her on the phone. And today we're going to talk about the most frequently asked questions that we get.
So one question that I get all the time, and I have been getting a lot lately, is how do artists get good retention in the summer? Because it's getting hotter. Do they switch adhesives? Like, what's the best? What are some tips?
Yes, that's a good one. I personally remember when I was a lash artist in Boston, and I didn't know anything about adhesive at the time. It was mid-August, and I had back-to-back full sets, and I just couldn't understand why my adhesive was like gum. First suggestion would be is to make sure you have your room temperature and humidity under control. And the way you do that is through a hygrometer. So you want to build awareness, all right, do we need to drop it up, drop it down? Where am I at, so that you can fluctuate the room temperature if you need to, and then you can also make adjustments in your technique. If you're in a scenario and you have a client and they come in and the adhesive that you're working with is, say, on the thinner side, and you don't have a thicker viscosity adhesive like our Love Potion, what you would do in that scenario if it was running really high, like 70-80% like high, where it would affect your retention, is you would use more adhesive. Because the more adhesive you pick up, it takes longer to cure, right? So if that instance where if it was the opposite, it was really low, you might take less adhesive.
What's the difference between couture and luxury?
Good one. That is a good one. We started off Lash Affair with just the luxury collection. That's what we have. We have one style of lashes. So now couture is like a tighter curl. So when we brought on the couture, it was the need for, we wanted to have it the CC curl option, right? So whereas the luxury is a little bit more relaxed, there was no space to go to put a CC between the C and the D, because our CC curl in couture is basically like the D curl in luxury. So that's, I think, the main difference, because they're obviously both made out of high quality PBT. They're both sterilized. They both have tapered tips. They're both the deepest, darkest black. We improve that constantly.
Another one that I usually get is what makes our lash embellished kit like different or like stand out from other people's kits.
We were formulating this product, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't damaging whatsoever. Some products can be a little bit harsh, so ours is fortified with hydrolyzed silk, keratin, and collagen. So you get basically like a treatment with the lift. And you can do it for your brows as well. And she has new sustainable packaging. So we got rid of the box and we have a beautiful little tote bag. It's reusable and it says get lifted and it's adorable.
Oftentimes we're getting calls from, hectic lash artists. They're getting new clients. This is summer, so their books are full. And when they get new clients, they ask me like, honestly, how important is the consultation? Like, can that be cut out? And obviously, I'll let you handle that one, but I know what I recommend.
What I'm hearing is that they just want to forego that part to fit in more people.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's tempting to do. So the consultation really, to me, is the most important part of what we do, because you're setting the standards of how you want the relationship to go, right? You're setting your aftercare standards, letting them know the do's and don'ts, like they're part of it, right? So it's your time to shine and show your education, show your expertise. We have this consultation book at Lash Affair that we recommend our students to use, so that when you're giving the consultation, you can have like just something to show them and like touch and feel, and it has all the lengths and diameters on there. And if you're new to lashes, you might not know what those words mean, so sometimes having just like a physical item to hold, it really like resonates with people. But it's important because you have to get to know your client. You have to get to know their lifestyle. You have to get to know their preferences. How do they want their lashes to look? So if you have somebody that comes in and they say that they wear mascara and eyeliner 7 days a week, okay, that's a pretty good indication that she might not want a classic set. That she's looking for some dense, black darkness at the eye. So I just think that those questions are important, because you can't just assume that you know what people want just by looking at them. And it's important to set expectations that are realistic too. You need to know if your client is a swimmer that swims in a pool 3 times a day. That's her job or her favorite pastime. So like that, if you didn't ask that, how would you know? And that could be causing the lashes maybe later on to not stay on. So it's really for you as well. So it's two parts. It's just to get to know each other, and how can you, because it's a relationship. How do you make the relationship the best it can be, and that you have to get to know each other. So that consultation is something that shouldn't be skipped. Work that into your appointment time. 15 to 20 minutes is really all you should need, but definitely no less than that. So you should be spending that time really during the first initial application, and then any appointment that they come in after the fact, you can just do like a quick, how did you like everything? Do you want to change everything? And then just ask them, has anything changed? And then no, and then you can start. So it's not 15 to 20 minutes every time.
Yeah.
But really that first time, it's important, and it will make your lives, you and your clients, so much easier moving forward, and not to mention the time that it will save.
Yeah.
Also, it's extremely professional.
Yeah.
Right?
Build those relationships.
Yeah.
They're important. So a question that I feel like everybody needs a clear answer to is, can I get my lash extensions wet after the service?
Yes, 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 and yes. So we're here to set the record straight, and you absolutely can get them wet. So we used to advise people, this is like 10, 15 years ago, to avoid getting them wet for up to 24 hours. Don't really need to do that, seeing the fact that the cyanoacrylate in the adhesive needs water, needs H2O to actually cure and to form that solid bond. So what we've done, clever lash artist, is we introduced the nano mister. So instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna give you a full cleansing, or you can go wash your face in the sink, or just rinsing them, we're introducing the water in a controlled manner through a nano mister. So it's light, ultra fine mist. You just want to make sure that you're applying the water for about a minute after. So you just wanna make sure that the last lash that you place on your client, you're sifting through, you're checking for stickies, blah, 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 then you hit them with the nano mister. So you don't wanna do it like last lash placed, immediately hit it with the water. You just want to give it that 30 seconds to a minute to start to react to the oxygen, and then you can hit it with the water. So you don't get that shock polymerization where it's like little micro cracks in the bond if you introduce the water too soon.
And then how far should the nano mister be usually?
I mean, if your client is here, you just hold your arm up over their head. So it's not necessarily like how, I know that that's been another question too, of like nebulizer versus nano mister. It's not necessarily, and I got this information from a very well-known scientist, it's not necessarily like how big the water, it's when you introduce the water, right? So if you're up here, whether it's a nano mister or a nebulizer, the mist by the time it gets down here is going to disintegrate and start to, what's the word?
Evaporate.
I didn't want to say that, I wasn't sure. It starts to evaporate, so by the time it gets down here, it's going to be fine, right? So you just don't need to spray it so close, but here's fine, and you want to wait the appropriate amount of time for introducing the water. So you can really essentially go swimming after, you could cleanse immediately after with water, full cleansing. That's actually pretty common too for people that have sensitivities, so.